skin. Temptation within, mistakes ignite the silence. Nightmares creep while you and me repeat. This bittersweet heat is suffocating. I'm waiting and always hesitating. Kryptonite desires set my heart afire. Heart on fire. Set my heart afire. Jack it up.
Everybody over here. This is Anay Mashruwala here. I am one of the coaches over here at PDPU IIC, and we're going to have a small 40-45 minutes session with a quick introduction about the program, and we want it to be an AMA, ask me anything kind of an interaction with all the participants who are coming in and having contacts and having questions regarding the program. Okay, so let me start uh, by inviting one of the managers, Ms. Drashti Shah, to give a brief introduction about PDPU. Yeah, Drashti?
Yeah. Hello, everybody. My name is Drashti Shah, and we welcome you to this program on SME Accelerator. And basically, we are a part of a university known as Pandit Deendayal Petroleum University. And we are an incubator, which was earlier student-run e-cell, entrepreneurship cell, and then converted into incubation center, full-fledged in 2014. And we work very closely with state government, Gujarat, and also we are a technology business incubator, and we've support ideas, ventures, not only student entrepreneurs but also people who are professionals or are into business since ages, to help them accelerate their business ideas and to help them grow their business ventures and make it a very financially commercially viable business model. So for that, we provide them set of various services, right from infrastructure to mentoring to funding to financial support. And also, since we are a part of a university, we have high amount of infrastructural support that we have from university. So we have, these are some of the statistics. And so yeah, that's it about the incubation center. We have almost 100 plus startups working with us, and 70 crores of funds we have raised. That includes the government grant funds and the external funds that we've raised through angel and VC houses. And in all to all, we have won more than 150 plus awards, and we have filed more than 50 plus IPR for our startup ventures. So yeah, that's it about IIC, and now handing it over to Anessa and Vikrant, so they'll guide you more about what this entire SME program is all about. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Drashti. Thank you so much. So let me also introduce my colleague, Mr. Vikrant Potnis, who is a very reputed guy as far as raising funds and VC funding is concerned. And is a very important part of this entire program that we do over here. So when we talk about an incubation center, there are a lot of questions and doubts about what we actually do. So we get people with ideas at a very, very nascent level. And we sit down with them and interact with them and make sure that the idea really sticks, and there is a lot of things that happens at their end. Validation happens, product identification happens, market identification happens, technology validation happens, scaling up happens, and we have a lot of case studies that we have done. Now coming to the topic, that is next Orbit SME Accelerator program. Uh, the intention for doing this is something that we wanted to discuss with you all, because there are a lot of apprehensions and questions in the minds of everybody. So we very strongly believe that universities, just like rivers are the cradles of civilization, universities are supposed to be cradles of economic growth and innovation. And we genuinely, wholeheartedly intend to live up to this objective of being a cradle to the growth engine to this ecosystem in and around. Um, to endeavor to this objective, and looking at the people we are interacting with, we wanted to have a hands-on engagement with the SMEs as such. Somebody who is personally also an SME owner and running a fourth generation entrepreneur, I understand the value of having and an academic association with me very strongly. So we wanted to live with you, we wanted to understand you, and we wanted to make sure that we are creating value in and out on a regular basis. And that is the basic intention for having this initiative. Uh, so this is the program. Uh, a brief introduction as such, and we'll talk about it in a little more detail. Uh, we want to make it a 14-week virtual program, uh, where we are not expecting more than 2 to 4 hours of interaction as far as sessions is concerned. Uh, as the but the one-on-one interaction would be a little more than that. Uh, and we want to do this in the right accordance. So what we intend to do is have a cohort of somewhere around not more than 30-35 people, sit down with them, understand their businesses, and really sit down. Apart from these 14 sessions, we wanted to give opportunities. Opportunities for connects, opportunities for scaling up, opportunities for growth. Uh, and the real differentiation factor between us and what a lot of Zoom calls and Zoom sessions that you would have gone through in the lockdown period would be that the real work will actually start after the session gets over, where we sit down with you and work with you to understand how the theoretical aspects of what discussions happened can be implemented on the practical level. Vikrant, you would like to add something over here?
Sure, sure. So, just to add on to what Anay sir mentioned is the need of the program and what is it that we are going to deliver and what is it that you will get out of it. See, if you see the past 5-7 years, uh, you would have heard of startups raising billions of dollars. You would have heard about a small business innovating a particular sector, coming up with a completely new solution in an existing sector. Take it logistics, take it, simple example is, taxi business was always there. There were always taxis on the road. But suddenly there is a company which became $1 billion value company and changed the market, right? Why did an existing logistics business or an existing cab business, why did they not become that $1 billion company? Uh, when we studied this, there were 5 or 6 key things that came up. One thing was that in the whole flow of doing things the way they have been happening for the past so many years, somewhere SMEs lost focus on the innovation angle and looking at their own business through a very different lens, adding a layer of technology, adding a layer of innovation. So that was one thing. Second thing was human capital and complete reworking of that. Today, a 25-year-old fresh MBA aspires to be a part of Flipkart, but does not aspire to be a part of a 50-year-old or a 25-year-old SME who is cash positive, who has been taking business fundamentally forward. Why? Why is that? Why is that he's aspiring to go to a startup or to go to a business which is just 5 or 10 years old, but not a business which has been more fundamentally involved for a longer duration of time. So one, we talked about technology transformation. Second, we talked about human capital. Third, if you see access to capital and more importantly, equity capital. Traditionally, SMEs are actually exposed to loans and debt, and that is what they know very, very well. However, if you see, some of the new businesses over the past 10 years have been built on the base of equity funding, have been built on the base of raising money, equity from international investors, and using that money to grow their business. How do we actually go about doing that? What is it that we need to do to raise a round of equity funding? What is it that investors really look at? Another important pillar. And fourth, most important point was, again, being socially relevant and environmentally relevant. How do we position our company, and how do we imbibe certain qualities that make us socially relevant, that make us environmentally relevant? Because all the remaining 3 points are linked to this one point. Today, investors are asking this question. Today, employees are asking this question. Today, your technology adoption has to be in a way that that objective is actually met. And all of this on the base of profitability and growth. Our experience of working with startups, we've seen this, what is it that these startups build that made them big? That experience, that best practice, is customized now for SME founders. And we are trying to deliver this as an SME founder, that how do you look at your business in a completely fresh perspective? How do you ensure that you build in technology transformation, human capital reworking, raising round of funding, making your business socially relevant? All of these things, how can you actually build in your business now to innovate and take, to get to the next level? Because what got you here, you might be today a 50 crore or 100 crore top line SME, but what got you here is definitely not going to take you to the 1,000 crore or to your road to listing. By the way, we have a special module on how do we actually prepare you to become a listed enterprise. What do we need to do? And like Anay sir mentioned, this is not only about sessions that telling you how to do it, but backing it up with execution, which means at the end of it, you will essentially have the necessary connect. You will essentially have the necessary tools and templates. You will essentially have the necessary workforce guiding you to take that step and go to the next level. So in a nutshell, adding on to what Anay sir mentioned, this is what the program is all about. We intend to work with a very strong pool of 20-25 selected, SMEs, because peer learning is also a very important aspect in this entire thing. This is out of our own experience that, when we are learning, whether you take any top B school, yes, the learning comes from the guys who are sharing experience, but major part of learning also comes from whom are you, day to day working with, right? Who is your peer? So it's a combination of all these things backed by execution, and that's what we are bringing to the table. So over to you, Anay sir.
So great. I mean, that's very well explained, Vikrant sir. I'd like to add a couple of things which are very relevant over here. A lot of things, a lot of opportunities are there when we cross the borders of our country. There are a lot of opportunities apart from just about equity capital. There are a lot of opportunities and new tools of raising working capital. Exchanges for bill discounting, exchanges for selling bills. There are a lot of new capital opportunities out there, which we intend to work with you and give those exposure to all of you, so that you are able to access this. Because one of the major issues with SMEs as on the date happens to be working capital. And there are some amazing new tools that are in the marketplace, which we intend to share with you, which are operational and which can really catapult the growth in a very short period of time. When we talk about crossing Indian borders, we don't want you to go through just a session about exports. We want you to get an exposure with people who have actually done it, practitioners and international people who are out there with a present ecosystem who can help you get access into international markets. So that's what we want to offer as a part of this program. My dear friends, it's not about those just 14 hours, so to say. It's about actual execution and actual opportunity, so that you are able to do it and implement it. So it's not just about Gyan. It's about the real stuff. The real stuff will actually start after the sessions. There'll be a lot of hand holding. There'll be a lot of connects to implement whatever we are learning and whatever we are understanding over here. हाँ, there was a big question that that had come from a lot of people that हम लोग का एक trading का setup है, हम लोग wood का trading का काम कर रहे हैं, and we are over here since generations put together. What exactly will you do in the matters? My dear friend, I'll give you an example. Agarbatti, everybody is aware about agarbatti, so to say. Now, agarbattis is a very well-known, probably 100, 200-year-old business, so to say. But there was a company in the marketplace which was able to raise capital from international market and be the leading suppliers of agarbattis nationally and internationally, and also grow exponentially over a period of time, from being just an SME to being somebody which really became a very powerful big turnover company. I'm talking about a company known as Cycle Agarbatti, and it's an amazing journey for us to learn, understand. There are companies like AI Engineering from Ahmedabad. We're talking about an organization which 30 years ago was a very small organization, is as on the date having a net value of 16,000 crores. This is Ahmedabad. So we're talking about learning best practices from these people. There is a lot of questions that people have been asking, that innovation and all these are big words, and how can we, being a small trader or a small SME who is in this business doing the same thing since ages and decades, how can we reinvent ourselves? It's a task, but then you will have to start somewhere, because in tomorrow's world the rate of change is so fast that we as SMEs, if we don't use our agility in the best possible way, that young MBA who is going to enter into this marketplace, or that young entrepreneur is going to enter into the marketplace with the new tools of the business, with new ideas into business, new money into the business, and is going to make us irrelevant. And we want to really sit down with you and not just talk about growth, but we are talking about scaling up and scaling out. With the minimum amount of resources and minimum amount of setup that we have, how can we really grow exponentially and grow out of Indian markets? That is what we intend to do. So this program is not about just education. This program is about fullest form of education, which has three components basically: knowledge set, skill set, and mindset. So when we talk about knowledge set, it is basically some tool, some best practices, some theory, but then the skill really happens to be how to implement that theory in your businesses, and how do we learn from implementing those theories in your businesses. And the mindset happens to be opening up our mind to new opportunities, opening up our mind to new options, opening up our mind to new ideas, and using those ideas, using those opportunities to take it to the next orbit and going out there. And that is what the entire objective of this program really happens to be. So these are some of the questions that we have received. How to become an innovation focused enterprise in Sabha. We intend to cover this as a part of our sessions. There are going to be special sessions which are based on this, where some tools are going to be shared with each and every one of you, which you can implement and really find out ways, means, and methods to actually become innovative in the matter, in using whatever resources that you have, so that you don't only survive but grow in this continuously changing environment. How can we retain our advantage of being nimble, because we are an SME, but run just like a professional MNC? If we want to really help you add a layer of technology on existing kind of setups, what is Industry 4.0? What is IoT? What is a machine learning? What is artificial intelligence? Can a small trading unit implement these practices in their organization and really differentiate themselves vis-a-vis everybody else? What are the alternate sources of funds and finance? My dear friend Vikrant sir happens to be somebody who is an expert in the matters and have raised a lot of money for a lot of people, SMEs and startups throughout his careers. And I have been working very closely with startups so that they are able to raise money, make a lot of turnover, and file a lot of patents apart from running my own business. How do we cross the Indian borders and expand into international markets? These are going to be the objectives with which we are going to work. So this is a small detail about the program outline, where we are expecting the topics that will be covered. a lot of these people who are going to take so everybody who is going to take a session with, in this entire program is basically a practitioner, somebody who has a deep understanding of how to use these technologies or have been using these technologies, and you have been using this implement these ideas into real life businesses, and we are bringing these people on board. Apart from that, we are talking about one-on-one interaction sessions with relevant experts for a deep dive into analysis and full assistance on implementation based on the requirements of the participants. We intend to do that. And a lot of things can be done as far as assessment reports and feedback is concerned. And these are the various other add-on services that we can discuss. Apart from that, this is a small work outline of where we are right now. We are over here. We are calling applications. The number of seats are limited, and we want to work with a very small cohort so that we can really create value for them. We want people who are keenly interested and happy to accept change. We intend to start our operations just before Diwali, so that we are able to make the maximum utilization of the standard Indian thought process of really reinventing ourselves, and because that's that period in businesses, at least in the western part of India, that people are really rethinking of how the last year went and what can be done in the next year, and it will be a 14 weeks kind of a engagement. We already have some very interesting partners who have come on board. Government of Gujarat MSME department is already on board with us. NSE, National Stock Exchange, and people from there who are having the SME listing know-how and understanding are with us. TIE Ahmedabad has been supporting us in the best possible way all since quite some time, and again over here. IPPO, this is the leading intellectual property organization in the world who we have partnered with. These are so another very important question is that why PDPU IIC? मतलब आपने क्या कर लिया है अभी तक कि आप हमको ये सिखा सकते हो? What exactly have you done? Very valid question. So we will discuss couple of examples of what we have done till now. There are 105 odd startups over here that we have worked with. We'll discuss a couple of them with each and every one of you. And I'll invite Vikrant sir to put in his points as well in each and every one of them. So Imagine Power Tree is one of the organizations that started. Solar panels, and again Gujarat and Ahmedabad happens to be a big hub for solar panels. And this is one more company just like this which is having solar panels in a very beautified shape, but that's not all. This is an organization which is having 16 IPs with them. This is an organization which is able to bid in government tenders heads on with the biggest and the baddest people in the marketplace. They are bidding against Tatas, they are bidding against Adanis, and this is just a 3-year-old company. With no VC funding, these guys have already crossed a turnover of 3.5 crores. And they are able to do their businesses in the best possible way. They are able to win. This is an interesting business where the solar panels move with the direction of the light and the sun. They are self-cleaning, and they take 1/10 of the space. The space below it can be utilized, and the cost of implementing this is also very less. So this is one example where we have done such implementations in the matters. Vikrant sir, you would like to add something over here?
Sure. So again, a business which was existing, right? So what we are trying to highlight is that solar as an industry and as a market was always there. But this entrepreneur, very super, I would say, smart and ambitious founder, added a layer of innovation on an existing market which was large, found the problems within an existing market, created a solution for it, implemented the solution, and today it's one of the most innovative companies. In fact, the stock exchange, Bombay Stock Exchange, has a top 10 impact ideas that they come out with, and Power Tree was one of the top 10 ideas in the Bombay Stock Exchange list. And that's what we are seeing, complete innovation on an existing, base of market. Similarly, a lot of SMEs are having their existing businesses in existing ventures in existing markets, which have been on for a great number of years. How can we add a layer of technology, and how can we actually reinvent the business? And this is one great example of this.
So just to give you a little more brief about these guys, so if you have a chemical plant which is very big, they have green zones over there, and they cannot put in more infrastructure over there. They cannot do a foundation over there. This is a major solution, major breakthrough that they are able to do. They are offsetting the green energy requirement of Gandhinagar smart city in a big way. So if you want to look at this, go to Sarita Udyan at Gandhinagar. You go to Statue of Unity, you will find these people, you will find these installations over there. Been very well covered in media in a big way. We are very proud that this happens to be one of the startups that we have worked with. So this is not alone. So another very interesting example happens to be Amoni. Textiles, handlooms, very crowded marketplace, such a large number of players in the marketplace, so many people doing a lot of stuff. Online marketplace is already crowded place, a lot of people are doing everything. But then here is a startup, young girl, 20s, NIF graduate, interested in doing something to help the handloom weavers and the lost arts and the losing arts of India. And how do we help them? So here is a very small startup, and what they did is they gave online market access with online market understanding to the weavers. So for example, I am a weaver who is based out of Rajkot, and I love making these specialized Rajkot based saris, but the two-colored patolas, the two-colored patolas, very common thing, not such a big thing, but then and they are making it. They're making of various colors based on their best understanding. But what Amoni does is that उन लोग को वो infrastructure देते हैं, know-how देते हैं कि भाई मार्केट के अंदर अगले साल के अंदर ट्रेंड्स में ऑरेंज कलर, ग्रीन कलर ज्यादा चलने वाला है. आपका जो बिक रहा है उसमें ये वाली पैटर्न ज्यादा चल रही है. तो मार्केट इंटेलिजेंस ऐसे लास्ट माइल आर्टिजन्स को देके उन लोग का सेल्स बढ़ा रहे हैं. And in the process also they are वो काफी पैसा बना रही है. ये स्टार्टअप ऑलरेडी गुजरात स्टार्टअप इनोवेशन अवार्ड 2019 में it was one of the finalists in social impact. By the way, TAI very recently around a month back had a national at state level startup competition for women. She was one amongst them. Out of 9 finalists out of entire Gujarat, 5 were from PDPU IIC. That is the kind of impact that we have. So this is one very interesting startup which is already clocking turnovers into crores, very recently funded by CII, and one of the top-notch startups in the ecosystem in the marketplace right now. Doing some very interesting stuff. Again, very well-established business, rudimentary business, but reinventing the entire thing and taking to the next level, and reaching out at international markets and national markets and giving access to a lot of people who never had access to this technology and know-how. Yeah, Digant sir,
I think you've covered it, so we'll go to the next one.
Okay, so last and one of the earlier startups of PDPU IIC, one of our most celebrated startups. Over here, this guy is a fresh graduate. Now he's no longer a fresh graduate. He was a fresh graduate 3 years ago, and a classroom idea of using a very common sensor that is available of not more than 35-40 rupees in the marketplace, about making a device so that blind people can operate and maneuver in an environment on their own with the least amount of help. Stick has its own set of problems, and the blind people adaptability to new technology is another set of problems. Here is a guy who developed the technology, validated it, and PDPU had a major role as far as validating this technology is concerned. We sat down with him, made third-party inspections, made validation protocols from scratch, and actually did a lot of stuff in the matters and made sure that the company uh, uh, is able to grow. They have won the best high impact award internationally at China very recently in 2019. Vikrant was instrumental for getting investments for this organization, a very young organization as such. They have a North Korea office. They have a South Korea office. They have their operations in African market. They have operations internationally in European market. They have operations in Latin American markets, and of course they have big operations in India. And again, the product is designed in such a way that it can be assembled, it can be maintained, and it can be taught by blind people. So that's the uniqueness of this idea. So a lot of innovation over here as far as product design is concerned, validation is concerned, and at all the levels, PDPU is involved to such an extent that for any startup or any young SME or for any such matters, it's a difficult task to get the first set of orders. With PDPU, we have a lot of board of directors who are people from ONGC, IOCL, BPCL, the G companies. That they have their CSR budgets, but then they cannot. They usually don't trust a new startup or a new organization. That is where PDPU IIC came in. They took the first set of orders in the name of the organization because they had validated the product themselves. We sat down with them. We did all the third party inspections and supplied. And that once first order from ONGC led to a windfall of a lot of orders from CSR across India and internationally. And it is one of the top most celebrated startups across the globe these days. Vikrant sir, you have a lot of stories to tell about this startup.
Yeah. So essentially, again, the point that I want to kind of highlight is that we all saw this problem, while crossing the road. We all saw this problem every time. But here is a founder who actually came out with a solution. That solution was translated into technology, into product, and then product into P&L in terms of a business model of getting CSR to kind of fund it and actually expand the business internationally as well. What is very important to see about this is the speed of execution, right? Typically, what happens in slightly larger organizations is that we lose a track of being nimble or fast, right? With the scale, with the size of operations, the execution speed kind of goes down, right? The learning for us, the best practices for us that we need to take is essentially how do we be as nimble as an early stage enterprise, and how do we execute at a particular speed which is super fast, and that leads to disruption, a problem, a solution, translating into a product, getting P&L, and all of this happening at a super fast speed is what needs to be now integrated, implemented within the SME ecosystem. So with that, I think we will move on to certain questions. And there are a few questions which we would like to answer. And one question is that, which we've already answered is, will the session be just webinars or hands-on task will be given to the participants? So like we said, the session is the starting point. Then there will be essentially hand-holding from an execution perspective. And that is what the whole program is structured as. The topics that you've mentioned in the sessions take long time to be implemented. It cannot be done immediately. Will we receive any guidance during implementation? If yes, then what and how? And this is precisely the point which we want to again highlight, that yes, throughout your journey, you will be getting hand-holding and guidance. Obviously, there are some things which will take its own time. For example, if you are looking at, say, raising a round of private equity funding for yourself, it's not going to happen tomorrow. There is a journey of 6 to 8 months before the money hits your bank account, right? That's a normal time period. But within that journey, the help which you need, the guidance which you need, the mentoring which you need, the connects that you need, all of that becomes actually the key USPs of this accelerator program. And not just a session on, okay, how do we go about raising money? I'm just giving you an example of a topic that I am aware of, right? There is a question which is coming out, which says that, Anay sir has been talking about cases of startups, right? But we are MSMEs. And as a DNA, startup and MSMEs are completely different. How such a program will help us and our business, which is at a particular stage. And that is where the definition, or what we wanted to highlight, was that, as a founder, we need to imbibe best practices. There are certain things which you are doing right. There are certain things which can be borrowed from innovative technology companies, which are actually cruising at a very, very fast speed. And then there are certain systems and processes which are really good of a large corporate, right? We are somewhere as SMEs, somewhere in the middle, right? We are in this Bermuda Triangle in between. We don't have systems and processes in place like a large corporate, but at the same time today, we are not as fast as a new company emerging out of an incubator, for example. The idea is to imbibe the best practices from both sides of the spectrum, and to move from this center to the right hand side, which is towards the larger organization. And that is essentially what we are trying to do through this entire accelerator program. So that was another question. Fourth question is a very interesting question, and I'm taking the liberty to answer that. We are 3 directors. Is it possible for other 2 directors to attend the session along with me? What we would actually do is we would urge you to come in teams. See, the idea here is to pass on the benefit, as much benefit as possible to the owners of SMEs, right? And therefore, and if there are 3 directors, 2 directors, you're working as a team, in fact, it will be very important for you guys then to come on the same page, and then to discuss things after these engagements, right? It would be very interesting. Both of you would look at it, or 3 of you would look at this particular a particular topic, and then discuss and then find a solution which is best suited for you. So I think we highly recommend that you come in teams. It would be very impactful. And these were some of the questions that were there, which were coming. Happy to take more questions. And Anay sir, if you have any additions to what I've said, please.
So you've done a great job, sir. There are a couple of questions that I am having in the chat box, and let me just address them over here. What kind of guidance or help are you going to provide for small scale businesses? Pratibha, please understand, small scale business or a startup or a large scale business, each of them are different in their own operations, but they have the same set of issues as far as certain aspects of the business is concerned. Each and every one of them has to be innovative. Each and every one of them has to understand what are the best practices as far as working capital is concerned, as far as raising funds is concerned. Each of them has to understand how to get into international markets. Now, for an SME, these are very important questions that they need to answer. And very little help is available in the marketplace, where people are helping in actually doing it, rather than just listening to a talk and then being confused of how does it get implemented. Now I'm stuck up over here. What is the next step? What we intend to do over here as a part of this acceleration program happens to be that we are actually sitting down with you and understanding your needs, sharing with your theory, and giving you context and connects which will be able to help you for a very long period of time, not just for those 14 sessions. So it's not a 14 session, 14 into 2, 28 hours program. It's basically an access to a set of contacts, a set of connects, a set of know-how, and people with know-how who can help you implement these things in your organization. And that is why we are calling it an acceleration program, not one more diploma course or one more certificate course. It's not a certification course as such. It's about learning how to do things. So that's the differentiating factor which we are trying to help with the small scale enterprises. Krishna has asked, a lot of programs were held during the lockdown and are still being conducted. How is this different from others? Other excellent. So please understand this. A lot of programs happened, a lot of programs are happening, and a lot of programs will happen. But a lot of hand holding is happening, which will start after the session gets over. And we want to sit down with you and be on that journey with each and every one of you to make sure that you become the next level of, we really put in the help you get the turnover around. That's what our basic intention happens to be. That's the differentiating factor. Startups and MSMEs are different. How is with this program? Very, very true, Prakash. Startups and MSMEs are different. But you know what? Every startup at some level becomes an MSME, and every MSME at some level becomes a large-scale organization. Startups, many a times there is an issue of product market fit. In MSMEs, the product market fit is there. That is why they are able to make money, and they are there. The real problem happens to be that they are not able to go to the next level. There is a stagnation that is there in an MSME. That this is the level of growth I'm achieving. I'm achieving 10% growth on a yearly basis. I'm having good revenues. Everything is fine. But when it is requirement to go from 10% growth to 30% growth, then there is an issue. And at any point of time, there is a disruption in technology that happens, then that 10% growth rate will also die. So how are we prepared as an SME for that program? And that is what we are trying to do as a part of this program. Mayur has a question on what day of the weeks this session will be held, what timings, who are the speakers of the program. The sessions we intend to keep it in the evening after dinner. Yeah, I repeat, the sessions we intend to keep in the evening after the dinner. The reason behind it is that is probably the best time to get an MSME founder or an MSME promoter at certain level of peace of mind twice in a week. We are looking at mostly on Tuesdays and Fridays in the evenings, but depending on the availability of speakers, it might change. Who are the speakers who are coming to the program? Oh, you'll get to know about them very soon. But we are talking about some of the best practitioners in the marketplace. We are talking about people who are decision makers as far as listing is concerned. We are talking about practitioners who have an academic bent but actually are practitioners. We don't want it to be a session-driven engagement. We want it to be a practitioner-driven engagement where there is availability of knowledge set, skill set, and mindset, all three of them. And that is where the differentiating factor happens to be. Nileshji, as mentioned by Mr. Anay, MSMEs mostly struggle for working capital. Could you please brief on how PDPU will help raise the funds? Nileshji, very, very good question. Vikrant sir is somebody who has raised fund not for one, but probably 50 plus organizations. And we have a partner, which is NSE. They are also very, very, very well renowned in the marketplace. They are doing some amazing stuff. There are opportunities for you getting listed in MSME exchange. There are opportunities for bill discounting services and bill discounting exchanges out there. There are opportunities which are there, which we want to discuss with you hands-on, which are the new age technologies. हम लोग सब working capital की loan के बारे में जानते हैं. हम सबको पता है कि उसकी consultants market में available है. But हम लोग को bill discounting के बारे में पता है. हम लोग को क्रेडिट्स के बारे में पता है, हम लोग को ट्रेड्स के बारे में पता है, क्या उसकी प्रोसीजर्स क्या है उसके बारे में पता है. Are we aware about how to get benefits from the MSME policy as on the date? There are so many policies that MSME has, the MSME departments and MSME ministry has. But the usual question that we as promoters of SME, including myself, have that was कौन अपने चप्पल घिसेगा, कौन उतने पेपर वर्क में पड़ेगा. We intend to help you understand them better with the persons who are the decision makers in that department. We want you to make an understanding of how we can avail those benefits in the best possible way by the people who have taken those benefits and who can help you take those benefits. The government officers and people who have taken those benefits to come and share their best practices with you. And we, after the session is done, we intend to sit down with you and understand those things in a better way and help you actually get it done. Vikrant sir, would you like to take the next 4 questions?
I think we are running short of time.
Okay.
Drashti, can you just give us a confirmation that we should stop right now, right?
So, sir, maybe we can take another one question at max 23. Tak we can.
Okay.
Yeah, actually, I had a question. So you mentioned about poverty and textiles and all. So these sessions will have these industry-specific groupings, or it will be generic, or and different levels of commitment, different levels of capital required, different levels of achievements done. So it will be a generic kind of a session, or specific industry to industry, peer to peer kind of a session.
So obviously it will be, while we like and we want to go a specific route, the first introductory part will be definitely generic, because we will have it's not a particular sector cohort that we are going for, this is what essentially possibly a few months down the line we will look at. But right now, the base would be generic, and then the hand holding can be specific, right? So we will, after the base essentially is set, we will then move towards the specific ones. But yes, as a part of the cohort, there will be people coming from varied industries as well. And we see that as actually a strength for the program and for the participants, given that there will be a lot of cross pollination within the founders. Sure, thank you, sir. So I think what my request to Drashti would be to drop on the chat window maybe an email address. There are a lot of questions which are relevant, but because of the paucity of time, we've not been able to kind of answer them. My request is, if you guys can write those questions to us or call us specifically, please do that, and we will definitely answer all your questions and give you the comfort, to ensure that this is, value addition is done. So on the behalf of PDPU IIC team, I really thank you from the bottom of my heart for joining and listening to us, for, spending time and understanding the details of the program. I really appreciate, and thank you so much for being a part of this. And we hope to see you during the accelerator program. Over to you, Anay sir.
No, done, Vikrant sir. Thank you, everybody. You can always contact us on our Facebook and Instagram accounts. We are very active on all those platforms. Email us for whatever details that you need. Contact us, and we are there to support you. The initiative, the reason for doing this program or charging any amount of money over this program is not to actually make a lot of money out of it. We really want to be a part of the ecosystem and create a value for you. And with that pious objective, we are here to sit down with you, share whatever we have learned while working with all the startups and all the SMEs that we have worked with. The people who are coming over here are the people who are the best on the industries. Shortly, as Mayur had asked, who are those speakers? You will get those details in probably tomorrow's or day after tomorrow's time. The post will be out who all are coming in the matters, and they are some of the best in the marketplace right now. So thank you, and looking forward seeing everybody over here. Drashti madam, thank you, Anisha madam, Faizab madam, thank you for organizing this initiative. We have a lot of interns over here also from PDPU who are actually students who have come over here to organize this and do the digital media platforms and helping us make this session possible. Thank you very much, everybody. And thank you so much. And looking forward to seeing everybody. Bye.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Vikrant.
Bye.
Bye.